Welcome to section 13.3, and here in this section what we're going to be learning about is what's called truth in lending. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to write with the eraser. So truth in lending, as they lend you money, they have to provide you a truth in lending statement. Let me make that lending look a little bit better. Sorry about that. So truth in lending really requires the lender to give you all the specifics of your loan, what the true APR is. They can't penalize you for paying off the loan early. That's usually associated with home loans, car loans, things like that, especially after the catastrophe that happened in 2008 with the housing crisis and how loans were being written. They really wanted to make it more apparent to individuals about what they're owing and what their true interest rate is. And so this section is going to help us understand that a lot better. And the other thing it's going to help us understand is the payoff amount. If you and I have a loan, that loan well, if we choose to pay it off early, we shouldn't have to pay the interest that would have accrued over that time. And so we'll figure out what the unearned interest is for the bank and then take that off of what the monthly payments would have totaled. You'll watch that happen. In order for any of this to work well, we're going to have to refer to this table. And this table will be given to you often. Okay, so this table right here, let me see if I can make it bigger. I think if I tap on it, it can become bigger. This table shows you the annual percentage rate for monthly payments earned. Now, take a look at this. This is the finance charge per $100 of amount financed, and at the different interest rates. And so we're going to be using this chart a lot. And so as we work on a problem, we'll have to scroll up and get this chart for us. Let's take a look at a problem that they're going to give us. Let's take a look at this one right here. Find the APR to the nearest 0.5% for the following loan. The amount financed is, the amount financed is $5,300. The finance charge is $422, and the number of monthly payments is 24. So in order to accomplish this problem, we really need to get at that chart. And so that chart's going to give us our interest rate. But what we need to do is first figure out what the amount borrowed per $100 is. And so the way that you do that is you take your finance charge, and you divide it by the amount financed times 100, right? So that's going to give us the amount, the dollar amount per $100 financed. So they give us the finance charge. The finance charge is $422. The amount financed is $5,300 times 100 is equal to I got 7.96. So that's $7.96 per every $100 borrowed is what we're figuring out there. And so that allows us to use this chart. Now, as we go to the chart, we're going to have to go find this 796 number, but not just anywhere. We're going to find it. I don't know why it put a $sign on that one. Let me come up here for just a second. It just should have been a monthly payment of 24. And the number of monthly payments, 24. I'm not sure why I put a $sign on there. So we have 24 monthly payments that are there. And so as we go and look, we need to keep in mind that we're making 24 monthly payments. So let's come up here and let's go to the 24 monthly payment row. Well, that's this row right here, 24 monthly payments. And we want to travel in that row until we see something close to $7.96. This is the closest. This $8 is the closest. So we're in this row, and we're in the $8, and we're going to go up and see what the interest rate is. That interest rate would correspond to 7.5% interest. So again, we took into account the number of months we're making payments and also what the amount finance charge per 100 is. And so that $7.96 led us to the $8. We were in that row because of the 24 that's there, and we came up with 7.5%. And so that's the answer to our question. 7.5% APR is the rate of that loan. As we go to the next problem, what we're going to have is it says find the monthly payment if the purchase price is $4,000 and the down payment is $600. The finance charge is $210 and the number of monthly payments is 24. Well, we're not going to need the chart for this. We just need to establish what our monthly payment would be. So remember what's happening. We have the price of the thing is $4,000, but we're making a $600 down payment. But there's also going to be a finance charge of $210. So the amount that we have to finance is $3,610. You would see that on a truth in lending statement. So if you and I were buying a $4,000 car, they're going to have to tell us the exact amount of interest now. And so we can see that we're going to have to split up the 3610 into 24 monthly payments. So we take the 3610, divide by 24, rounding to the nearest cent. As I plug that into my calculator, we get $150.42. So the monthly payment is $150.42, and we're done with that problem. Let's see this next one. And so again, I'm choosing these to be closely tied with the homework. This one was related to number 5. The first one I did was like 3 through 4. 3 and 4, I guess, not 3 through 4. And there's some true-false in the very beginning that I think are good for you to understand the definitions that are in play here. So in this problem, we have a loan was paid in full before its due date. Okay, so let me get rid of the duplicity there. A loan was paid in full before its due date. Obtain the value of H from the annual percentage rate table, then use the actual method to earn the unearned interest. Oh, it looks like I'm missing some information here. Let me see what I'm missing. I wonder if I just keep going back. I think at some point I might have gotten rid of part of that problem. So let me see if I can find it, or sorry for your time here. So let me find this problem that's here. It's a good problem, so I'll bring it up on the screen because it is related to a problem that I had, and I'll type in the information. It's related to problem number 7 and 8. So let me just see if it happened to be below. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at what we need to know. Here's the specifics about this loan that we're dealing with. It is has a regular monthly payment of $439.49. It has an annual percentage rate of 4%, and the number of payments remaining, so I'll put remaining payments, is equal to 18. And so let me describe this situation. So this loan is being paid before its due date, so we're paying it off early. 18 months early is what it looks like. And so we're paying it off a year and a half and early. And so they're not going to be able to charge us that interest that they would have gotten for the last 18 months of the loan. And so it's going to use, they want us to obtain the value of H from the annual percentage rate table, then B, use the actual method to find the unearned interest, and C, find the payoff amount. So they're throwing in a lot of terms that I haven't discussed yet. So let's talk about what we need to accomplish. What we need to accomplish is to determine the unearned interest from paying off the loan early. So the bank is not going to receive all the interest it thought it was, right? And banks are not allowed to penalize you for doing this. And so what we need to calculate is, okay, how much of this $439.49 that I'm going to pay for the next 18 months was interest? So I need to subtract that out. So there's a formula for unearned interest that you should bring with you when you come to the exam. It looks like this. It looks a little bit daunting, but just remember, everything goes into a calculator. So when they say find H, it's the H in this formula. I'll tell you what H is. Let me describe some of these variables. I'll just go from left to right. U we're letting represent unearned interest. K is the number of payments remaining. So over here being the right hand side, I'm going to put in blue what it is for our problem. We don't know the unearned interest. That's what they're asking us to find. K, we know what that is. We have 18 months to pay off this loan. The next variable that we see is R. R is the amount of the regular monthly payment. And we know what that is for our problem. That is, let me see it again, $439.49. Awesome. So all of these numbers we just kind of have so far, with the exception of H. Oops, sorry about that. Keep everything color-coded the same way. So H is the finance charge per $100 on a loan with the same APR and with K monthly payments. So we don't know what H is. We have no idea. That's what they're asking us to find first. This is going to come from the chart though. It's just going to be a lookup value. So let's go do that. Let me give ourselves a little bit more room since we had to describe so much up here. Actually, maybe what I could do is just work right above this U formula. So let's go start plugging in what we know. Okay, come back here. U is equal to K. We know what K is. K is 18. Regular monthly payment, $439.49. And now we're stuck because we don't know what H is. So let's go find H. So what do we need to know? We need to know the APR on the loan and what K is, how many monthly payments we're going to make. So, and then we'll also need to know our interest rate, whatever our interest rate is. So those three things we'll need to know. So our APR is 4%. The remaining payment is 18. Okay, apologize. I had already mentioned the interest rate. We called it the APR. So we just need to know those two pieces of information. So let's remember 4% and 18. And we'll come up here to our wonderful chart. And we're going to be in the 18 row. Right? So we're going to be right in that 18 row. Come in here. See if the highlighter works okay. It's good. So I'm going to pull my number somewhere out of here. 4% would be the other intersection. So we're going to get $3.20. That piece right there. So let me get rid of some of these marks. and we want this $3.20. Okay, that's our H. So the first part of the question said, well, what's H? So the answer for A is H is equal to $3.20. So it's this 320 and a 320 that goes in here, and now we're set. So I would recommend putting this together as $103.20 and then run it exactly how you see it in your calculator. 18 times 439.49 times 3.20 divided by 103.20. And when you hit equals, you'll get $245.30. So the answer for A was H was equal to 320. The answer for B is the unearned interest is $245.30. So out of all those payments we're going to make, $245.30 of it is our money, right? That's the interest that we would have had to pay, but we're no longer having to pay. And so C says, what is the payoff amount? Well, the payoff amount's figured out like this. So the payoff amount is equal to K plus 1 times R minus U. Right? We got to subtract out that unearned interest. So this is 19 times the $439.49 minus the $245.30. So remember, this $439.49 was the regular monthly payment that we had from the very beginning. And when we calculate that, we have a payment amount of $8,105.01. So why the K plus 1? Because you got to pay the interest on that last payment, but you're not responsible for it for the other 18 payments. And so we're subtracting that out. And so in order to pay off this loan, she would need, or he would need to provide $8,105.01. The last question that we want to look at together is this one. This is found at like number 12 and 13 at the very end of the homework. So it talks about Joe, who financed a $2,295 computer with 24 payments of $104.30 each. Find the finance charge in the APR. So this is a lot like number 1, the first one that we did, but without them just telling us what the finance charge was. We can easily figure it out. So if we take 24 times 104.30, that's going to exceed $2,295, what the actual computer costs. So 24 times sorry for the hesitation there. Times the 104.30 is equal to 2503.2. Now we're going to subtract from that 2295. So let's subtract 2295, and we're going to get 208.2. That is the finance charge. That's how much we were overcharged on our loan in order to come up with that value. So I might have misspoke. This is number 9, not number 13. So this is number 9. So we know how to do this from the first one. We take our finance charge, divide by the amount that we were taking the loan for, and then multiply by 100. And so that's the 208.20 divided by the 2295 times 100. And that's giving us 9.07. So remember, we need to be in the 24 monthly payment row and looking for the closest we can to 9.07. So we're going to go up to our handy dandy little chart. Click on it. We're focused in the 24 row, and we're trying to find the closest we can to 9.07. 9.09 is super close, and that's telling us that this has an APR of 8.5%. So this is an 8.5% loan. If we didn't know what our loan was, we could absolutely figure it out that way. So that's the answer to this question, 8.5%. Awesome. This is the one that's related to 13. I thought I was on the last one, but I wasn't. That's what the hesitation was for. But here we have a woman, Claire, who needs to borrow $6,000 to pay for some season tickets for her family. She borrows from the credit union with 36 monthly payments of $195.83 with an APR of 8%. What amount must Claire come up with to pay off her loan if she paid in full at the time of her 30th payment? And the credit union uses the actuarial method for computing unearned interest. That unearned interest formula I shared with you is the actuarial method for computing unearned interest. So this is very similar to a problem that we did just 2 problems ago. We have 36 monthly payments, but she's paying it off on the 30th payment. That means she's paying it off 6 payments early, so K is equal to 6. The monthly payment, right, the monthly payment, or actually they call it R for the regular monthly payment, was $195.83. We're going to have to take that into account. But we also need the H. The H is going to be very important for us. So let's remember how we found H. H was found by utilizing 2 pieces of information. The number of remaining monthly payments, which was 6, and then also the interest rate, which was 8%. So if we go up to our chart, we can figure out what H is. So we'll scan right up here to our chart. And we have 6 payments left, so we're in the top row. It is 8% interest, and so we're looking at $2.35. That's what we're looking at here. $2.35 needed there. So we're going to take that $2.35 and come down here and say, well, your H is $2.35. So you'll get really good with this if you allow yourself some time to practice. Your homework is going to be a good practice for the exam, which will be very similar problems. Remember, it was K times R times H over 100 plus H. And so what do we know? The unearned interest is K, 6, R, 195.83, H, $2.35, 100 plus H, $102.35. Putting that in our calculator, just doing the product, 6 times 195.83 times 2.35 divided by 102.35, we get the unearned interest of $26.98. It's not much, because much of that interest was captured in the beginning, right? So it's the percentage is applied to the amount currently out, and so it just dwindles as the time goes on, the interest earned. So how do we get our payoff amount? Remember what that was. K plus 1 times the regular monthly payment minus the unearned interest. And so in our case, it is 7, right? 6 plus 1, 7. Why 6? Because there's 6 remaining payments that we don't have to pay interest on. But we do have to pay interest on that 7th payment that we're making as the 30th payment. Times 195.83 minus the unearned interest of $26.98. And we get a payoff amount of $1,343.83. So if she wants to pay off that loan early and save herself $26.98, she can do that by paying $1,343.83. Hopefully this is helpful and understandable. Let me know if questions come up in the homework. I'm happy to help.